Hello everybody, my name is David. Thank you for watching CNXG. Today's video is the Sado-Dacryphile Narcissist. And you guys probably never heard of that word before, dacryphile, and I'll tell you what it is right here. Sexual arousal from someone displaying strong emotion and or sexual arousal from the emotional release that accompanies crying. So it's about crying today is what I'm talking about. I'm making this video because I've heard people's stories, I've listened to people's comments, people have asked me questions about what's my take on their narcissist being sexually aroused, being turned on, wanting to have sex when they are crying. Which you would think that's, an odd thing, right? So here, there's never been any empirical research in this area until a Dr. Mark D. Griffiths and Richard Greenhill published a qualitative paper on this topic. And this is what some of the research found. There's tons and tons of subtypes of this, but a clear difference between those who experience sexual arousal from compassionate interest and those who experience sexual arousal from dominant submissive interest. So those are the two main differences that they have found, and those are what I'm talking about today. So a sadomasochism actually plays a part in this. And a sadist, for those who don't know, is one who derives sexual pleasure from causing pain to someone else, okay? So one who is entertained from watching someone in pain, but they caused it, would be control, right? So that's one aspect. And then the other is compassionate. Somebody that does this, a dacryphile that was considered compassionate, okay? And that's the difference, big difference. So the desire and emotional need to nurture another person, someone else, is actually fairly normal. It's something that's in most of us that when someone's in pain, we want to go towards them. We want to nurture someone. We want to make someone feel better that's crying. You know, a lot of people are very uncomfortable with crying in general, but when it's somebody that you really, really love and they're hurting, we want them to feel better, right? So it's not odd. It's a normative reaction to want to nurture somebody who is crying, especially if you caused it, right? So you guys are talking about narcissists that do this, and that's obviously not what we're talking about, right? They don't feel bad for you, and they don't feel remorseful for causing you to cry, and they aren't really trying to make you feel better. And you know what happens, this is what happens, right? When they finally get you so far down, knocked so far down at the bottom of the barrel, you're on the floor, looking up, begging for some compassion, crying, right? What do? They smile, you know? So they don't care about making you feel better. Matter of fact, they're enjoying the pain they've caused you, okay? They're enjoying, narcissists don't really care too much about people that are suffering or in pain around them or over there especially. It's when they've caused it. It's when they cause that pain, and they look at it. They're entertained by it. The narcissist wants dominance and control, and they seek pleasure out of this. Okay? And I think that, it's kind of like that vulnerability, right? And it's like, not only have I made you vulnerable, I've knocked you down. I've knocked down all the things that I admired in you in the beginning. A lot of the qualities you have, you no longer have anymore. And you're begging for that narcissist's compassion and love and validation, right? And that's when they got you. They got you. They're in complete control and dominance of you. And it's sexually arousing to them. Yeah, that's pretty sick, isn't it? So you look at one aspect, can really understand it. I can see, you know, someone your sexual partner, you know, someone you have sex with, make love to a lot, and they're crying, okay, and it's not, you didn't cause it, right? Say that person didn't cause the pain, they didn't cause crying, but they're crying, the partner's crying, and maybe it's not, you know, the death of their father. Maybe it's just something else, not as bad, upsetting. They're crying, their partner comforts them, and they get sexually aroused. I can see that, you know, as being somewhat normative, like these doctors suggest. But the getting sexual pleasure and arousal from causing someone that you are very close to and share your life with, the closest person to you, causing them to cry, because cry is the biggest emotional release, isn't it? I mean, you have anger and rage, but crying is you are broken down. All defense walls have come down, and this is when you need someone the most. And this is when they feel needed. You know, that's an emotional need that we have, and narcissists have emotional needs. And they get you to meet them for them, right? So if they can release tons of emotion from you, it tells them a lot, you know, besides the fact that they may feel secure and they may feel needed and wanted and things like this. But it's, I have no control over my life, but I'm in control of yours. I'm in complete grasp on your heart and your mind now. You know, and that is satisfying to the ego. Sexual pleasure. Sick. Just sick. So, if you have somebody, a loved one, someone close to you, that is sexually aroused, finding pleasure, entertained, smiling when you're that upset, ask yourself why. You know, the clear distinction. It should be a clear distinction. I don't think the person that is an emotional dacryphile, the compassionate dacryphile, I don't think they are so much aroused by, I don't think it's about the pain that they caused. I think it's about that they're in pain and they can meet their needs, and it makes them feel wanted and needed to do that. Just my opinion also on that. So I thought it was pretty interesting, and getting this question often, I dived into this and just try to come up with some answers. So if you guys think that's interesting, let me know. And if you have any other questions about this, feel free to ask. Anything else that you can add, feel free to ask. And I'd love to know how many of you guys have experienced this. Even if you've been the one that's, you've done it, or your narcissist did that to you. Okay? So, thanks guys. Take care. Love yourself first. If you can, please share this video anywhere. Social media accounts and your groups and forums, stuff like that. Give it to people who might benefit from it. Thank you very much. I'll see you again later. Bye-bye.